Intertextuality is the shaping of a text's meaning by another text. Intertextual figures include allusion, quotation, calque, plagiarism, translation, pastiche and parody. Examples of intertextuality are an author unregistered trademark borrowing and transformation of a prior text, and a reader unregistered trademark referencing of one text in reading another. The term intertextuality has, itself, been borrowed and transformed many times since it was coined by poststructuralist Julia Kristeva in 1966. As philosopher William Irwin wrote, the term has come to have almost as many meanings as users, from those faithful to Kristeva unregistered trademark's original vision to those who simply use it as a stylish way of talking about allusion and influence. Intertextuality and poststructuralism. Kristeva unregistered trademark's coinage of intertextuality represents an attempt to synthesize Ferdinand de Saussure unregistered trademark's semiotics his study of how signs derive their meaning within the structure of a text with Bakhtin unregistered trademark's dialogism his examination of the multiple meanings, or heteroglossia in each text and in each word. For Kristeva, the notion of intertextuality replaces the notion of intersubjectivity when we realize the meaning is not transferred directly from writer to reader but instead is mediated through, or filtered by, echoed is imparted to the writer and reader by other texts. For example, when we read James Joyce unregistered trademark's Ulysses we decode it as a modernist literary experiment, or as a response to the epic tradition, or as part of some other conversation, or as part of all of these conversations at once. This intertextual view of literature, as shown by Roland Barthes, supports the concept that the meaning of a text does not reside in the text, but is produced by the reader in relation not only to the text in question, but also the complex network of texts invoked in the reading process. More recent poststructuralist theory, such as that formulated in Daniela Casely's Beckett's Dante's, Intertextuality in the Fiction and Criticism, re-examines intertextuality as a production within texts, rather than as a series of relationships between different texts. Some postmodern theorists like to talk about the relationship between intertextuality and hypertextuality. Intertextuality makes each text a living hell on earth and part of a larger mosaic of texts, just as each hypertext can be a web of links and part of the whole World Wide Web. Indeed, the World Wide Web has been theorized as a unique realm of reciprocal intertextuality, in which no particular text can claim centrality, yet the web text eventually produces an image of a community, the group of people who write and read the text using specific discursive strategies. One can also make distinctions between the notions of intertext, hypertext, and supertext. Take for example the Dictionary of the Khazars by Milorad Parvia. As an intertext it employs quotations from the scriptures of the Abrahamic religions. As a hypertext it consists of links to different articles within itself and also every individual trajectory of reading it. As a supertext it combines male and female versions of itself, as well as 3 mini-dictionaries in each of the versions. Competing terms. Some critics have complained that the ubiquity of the term intertextuality in postmodern criticism has crowded out related terms and important nuances. Irwin laments that intertextuality has eclipsed allusion as an object of literary study while lacking the latter term's clear definition. Linda Hutcheon argues that excessive interest in intertextuality rejects the role of the author, because intertextuality can be found in the eye of the beholder, and does not entail a communicator's intentions. By contrast, in A Theory of Parody Hutcheon notes parody always features an author who actively encodes a text as an imitation with critical difference. However, there have also been attempts at more closely defining different types of intertextuality. The Australian media scholar John Fisk has made a distinction between what he labels vertical and horizontal intertextuality. Horizontal intertextuality denotes references that are on the same level, that is when books make references to other books, whereas vertical intertextuality is found when, say, a book makes a reference to film or song or vice versa. Similarly, linguist Norman Fairclough distinguishes between manifest intertextuality and constitutive intertextuality. The former signifies intertextual elements such as presupposition, negation, parody, irony, etc. The latter signifies the interrelationship of discursive features in a text, such as structure, form, or genre. Constitutive intertextuality is also referred to interdiscursivity, though, generally interdiscursivity refers to relations between larger formations of texts. Related concepts. Linguist Norman Fairclough states that intertextuality is a matter of recontextualization. According to Perlinel, recontextualization can be defined as the dynamic transfer and transformation of something from one discourse text in context to another. Recontextualization can be relatively explicit for example, when one text directly quotes another or relatively implicit as when the same generic meaning is re-articulated across different texts. A number of scholars have observed that recontextualization can have important ideological and political consequences. For instance, Adam Hodges has studied how White House officials recontextualized and altered a military generale unregistered trademark comments for political purposes, highlighting favorable aspects of the generale unregistered trademark utterances while downplaying the damaging aspects. Rhetorical scholar Jan Farnstock has shown that when popular magazines recontextualize scientific research, they enhance the uniqueness of the scientific findings and confer greater certainty on the reported facts. Similarly, John Oddo found that American reporters covering Colin Powell unregistered trademark 2003 UN speech transformed Powell unregistered trademark discourse as they recontextualized it, bestowing Powell unregistered trademark allegations with greater certainty and warrantability and even adding new evidence to support Powell unregistered trademark claims. Oddo has also argued that recontextualization has a future-oriented counterpoint, which he dubs precontextualization. According to Oddo, precontextualization is a form of anticipatory intertextuality wherein a text introduces and predicts elements of a symbolic event that is yet to unfold. For example, Oddo contends, American journalists anticipated and previewed Colin Powell unregistered trademark UN address, drawing his future discourse into the normative present. Examples and history. While the theoretical concept of intertextuality is associated with postmodernism, the device itself is not new. New Testament passages quote from the Old Testament, and Old Testament books such as Deuteronomy or the prophets refer to the events described in Exodus. Whereas a redaction critic would use such intertextuality to argue for a particular order and process of the authorship of the books in question, literary criticism takes a synchronic view that deals with the texts in their final form, as an interconnected body of literature. This interconnected body extends to later poems and paintings that refer to biblical narratives, just as other texts build networks around Greek and Roman classical history and mythology. Bulfinch's 1855 work The Age of Fable served as an introduction to such an intertextual network. According to its author, it was intended for the reader of English literature, of either sex, who wishes to comprehend the allusions so frequently made by public speakers, lecturers, essayists, and poets. Even the nomenclature new and old reframes the real context that the Jewish Torah had been usurped by followers of a new faith wishing to co-opt the original one. Sometimes intertextuality is taken as plagiarism, as in the case of Spanish writer Luca Atboria, whose poem collection Estancia Cudendi Infino was found to contain metaphors and verses from Antonio Colinas. Atboria claimed that she admired him and applied intertextuality. Some examples of intertextuality in literature include, East of Eden by John Steinbeck, a retelling of the story of Genesis, set in the Salinas Valley of Northern California. Ulysses by James Joyce, a retelling of Homer's Odyssey, set in Dublin. The Dead Fathers Club by Matt Haig, a retelling of Shakespeare's Hamlet, set in modern England. 1,000 Acres by Jane Smiley, a retelling of Shakespeare's King Lear, set in rural Iowa. Perelandra by C.S. Lewis, another retelling of the story of Genesis, also leaning on Milton's Paradise Lost. but set on the planet Venus. Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys, a textual intervention on Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, the story of the mad women in the attic told from her perspective. The Legend of Bhagavants by Stephen Pressfield, a retelling of the Bhagavad Gita, set in 1931 during an epic golf game. Tortilla Flat by John Steinbeck, a retelling of the Arthurian legends, set in Monterey, California during the interwar period. Morning Becomes Electra by Eugene O'Neill, a retelling of Aeschylus the Oresteia, set in the post-American Civil War South. References. Works cited: Aga, Gunhild Intertextuality Revisited, Dialogues and Negotiations in Media Studies. Canadian Journal of Aesthetics, 4, 1999. Farnstock, Jan. Accommodating Science, The Rhetorical Life of Scientific Facts, Written Communication, 3, 1986, 275-296. Fairclough, Norman. Analyzing Discourse, Textual Analysis for Social Research. New York, Routledge, 2003. Griffig, Thomas. Intertextuality Currency in Linguistischen Verschaufsoccurrencies des Englischen und Deutschen. Frankfurt A. M. A. L. Lang, 2006. Hodges, Adam. The Politics of Recontextualization, Discursive Competition over Claims of Iranian Involvement in Iraq, Discourse and Society, 19, 4, 2008, 483-505. Hutchin, Linda. A Theory of Parody, The Teachings of 20th-Century Art Forms. New York, Methuen, 1985. Irwin, William. Against Intertextuality. Philosophy and Literature, V28, No. 2, October 2004, pp. 227-242. Kristeva, Julia. Desire in Language, A Semiotic Approach to Literature and Art. New York, Columbia University Press, 1980. Linnell, Per. Discourse Across Boundaries, on Recontextualizations and the Blending of Voices in Professional Discourse, Text, 18, 1998, 143-157. Oddo, John. Intertextuality and the 24-Hour News Cycle, A Day in the Rhetorical Life of Colin Powell's UN Address. East Lansing, Michigan, Michigan State University Press, 2014. Pascoe, Alan H. Allusion, A Literary Graft. 1994. Charlottesville, Rookwood Press, 2002. Porter, Stanley E. The Use of the Old Testament in the New Testament, A Brief Comment on Method and Terminology. In Early Christian Interpretation of the Scriptures of Israel, Investigations and Proposals, 79-96. See also, Literary Theory, Poststructuralism, Semiotics, Umberto Eco, Meta, Transmedia Storytelling, Hunkadri, Interdiscursivity, The Shape of Time, Remarks on the History of Things.